Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this has got to be one of the most fascinating news days I've seen in a while. We got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Well, since we're going to talk crazy, let's start with something creepy / crazy. Looks like XRP Bart is asking an AI robot what the price of XRP is going to be in 2030.
What will be the price of XRP in 2030?
If I knew the answer to that, I would definitely keep it a secret.
Well, now we know what AI thinks. Uh-oh. Remember all those people that said ETHgate was dead? Well, if there's one company the closest associated with ETHgate, it's Consensys. The SEC has formally charged, and let me remind you before I even talk about this, we never wanted to hurt Ethereum or anything like that. All we wanted was a level playing field. All digital assets be able to thrive and the best digital asset win. That wasn't good enough for Joseph Lubin and friends. New SEC has formally charged Consensys with violating securities laws by operating as an unregistered broker-dealer and engaging in the offer and sale of securities through its MetaMask platform. This was expected following the Wells notice Consensys received in April. My sources had told me they were expecting these charges to come around the end of the month. So now Consensys gets their own SEC lawsuit, and I retweeted because I was calling it back. Remember when Gary was doing his cheesy staking videos? You don't have to remember because I'm providing it to you. This is what I put out on March 3rd, 2023.
When I started the staking Ethereum 2 way back when in the first month with everybody else.
Thus, crypto entrepreneurs started offering what's called staking as a service. No, not like the steakhouse.
Not like that kind of thing.
The only question that I had was, will this ever be unlocked and will I ever see my money back?
Basically, if you transfer your tokens to a staking as a service provider, they take control, possibly pooling your tokens with thousands or millions of others while promoting returns.
And I didn't think about anything else because it would be self-destructive. Well, it looks like we're getting to March, and it looks like it is going to be... What thoughts do you have for somebody who got into Ethereum 2 as an investor? What new ideas? Because I haven't thought about this in 2 years.
Here's the rub. When a company or platform offers you these kinds of returns, whether they call their services lending, earn, rewards, APY, or staking, that relationship should come with the protections of the federal securities laws.
Thank you. This is not an investment advice.
Yeah, so you're either a true believer or you're crazy. You must have been a true believer in the Ethereum vision.
Well, yeah.
And so we've hit a lot of milestones over the years that people from outside who wanted to doubt or whose agendas required them to publicly doubt made a lot of noise about. And I think it's remarkable that we haven't been that late on all of these very difficult goals. So landing the merge was enormous, an incredibly complex endeavor, but hitting milestones like that gives more and more people on the planet greater confidence that the roadmap will be achieved. So this is another big piece, I think.
And thank you for investing in Ethereum. We all thank you here in the room.
There's an expression in crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. You see, you're basically an investor in their platform. If it goes under, and we've seen plenty of that recently, you end up in line in the bankruptcy court. That's why it's so important that these companies and platforms comply with the securities law. After all, the securities laws, regardless of what you think of stake or staking, they're good for investors.
Wow, what a mess. Few understand this.
Kind of where we stand, people. If you think for a second that the issues with regard to inflationary pressures are going to change anytime soon, interest on the debt ballooning, prices continuing to rise across the board, this neo-feudal system which is in full swing, you think that's going to change anytime soon? No matter who they stick behind the Resolute desk, then you got another thing coming, because you have no clue as to what's going on. It's unfortunate. As I always tell you, it is not presidents, kings, queens, monarchs, dictators who run the system. It's the central banks who are the government. And henceforth, why? They were protected last night. Both Trump and Biden did whatever they could to protect the Federal Reserve. And that equalizes them. That equalizes the playing field here. They don't work for you. They work for them. And that should tell you something.
Unfortunately, I think it's true. Look at the Black Swan Capitalist guys did an interview with this guy. What is his name? Rick Rule Z. I don't follow him. He's a investor, speculator for Rick Rule fans. He apparently he's a commodities guy. So watch this.
I wanted to ask you. Now, Mendel and I, we watch a lot of your videos over the years, and I know you don't talk a lot about digital assets, what some people commonly call crypto, but Mendel and I, we don't talk about crypto. We don't focus on crypto itself, but we focus on the underlying technology behind it, which is called the distributed ledger technology.
Yep.
Now, there is one specific technology Mendel and I focus on and emphasize. It's called RippleNet, which uses a digital asset called XRP. And on our research, it appears that many central banks around the world, including those of the BRICS nations, have been partnering with this payment company to use the technology for their payment systems. And after this call, also, we have documents from the World Bank, the IMF, and the Bank of International Settlements, specifically mentioning this digital asset and another as far as a stable coin. Now, Mendel and I believe that this ties into the narrative of tokenization, and that's where this is all going, digital economy and so forth. And gold being tokenized for central banks as well, things that has been discussed by the World Gold Council. Just a macro view on this. What are your thoughts on Ripple and the digital asset XRP, if you've done research on them? I want to hear your take on this.
I want to begin by disclaiming expertise. I'm fascinated with the application of blockchain technology in the financialization of all markets. I can confirm firsthand that the World Gold Council and the Royal Canadian Mint are similarly fascinated. I don't own digital currencies because I only own things that I understand. I have invested in 4 different applications of blockchain and distributed ledger technology around financial services, and in particular gold. While I don't understand Bitcoin, I do understand gold. And the idea that you could have a digital token that represented physical gold could be exchanged for physical gold, but could enjoy lower denomination, more liquidity, and less transaction cost is, I think, a reality in the not very distant future. I think it will revolutionize all financial markets. Whether or not XRP is the technology that is going to be adopted. I similarly have noted in the quarterly from the Bank for International Settlements, to which I subscribe, their own interest in XRP. And it was interesting for me to hear it from younger, smarter people than I, like you.
Wow. Okay. Metal Lawman says, after last night, I think it's fair to ask, who told Biden to veto SAB 121? In fact, who is putting documents in front of Biden every day and saying, sign right here, Mr. President? I know the answer. The minions of Senator Warren that she's planted in the White House. That's who. I think everybody realizes that now. Speaking of Senator Warren, she's never brought up John Deaton. She's never said John Deaton's name, to my knowledge, until now. When they say your name, that means that you are officially a real threat.
John Deaton.
And I believe that that's why John Deaton's putting this out. He says, right on cue, Elizabeth Warren engages in gaslighting, propaganda, attempting to make any decision she doesn't like about the red versus blue or Republican versus Democrat. This decision, he's talking about the Supreme Court has put out a flurry of decisions. We'll get to that in a second. American people, Brian Costello is exactly right. The American people are not just being lied to, Bill Ackman. They are witnessing criminal acts. Last night it became clear key government officials who took an oath to the Constitution, which includes 25th Amendment, including the Attorney General, Vice President, and many other parties, are knowingly attempting to cover up the president's mental impairment. This isn't just a scandal, it's a crime. Violations include 18 U.S. Code 1001 false statements, 371 conspiracy to defraud, 1512 witness tampering. Their duty to the Constitution and to protect the citizens of this country, not to execute a scandalous criminal cover-up of a mentally impaired president to win re-election and maintain power. Democracy is on the ballot, and an administrative state is again executing crimes to change the outcome of an election. Obama's hands are not clean in this either. If he is conspiring with the current cabinet or anybody in the administration, the entire cabinet should be impeached immediately and criminal investigation should pursue. Secret Service agents also have a duty to come forward. This is what needed to be said, folks. Here's the Supreme Court decision that is changing the game, one of them. Breaking from Eleanor Terridan, 6-3 opinion, Supreme Court has just overruled the Chevron deference, a 1984 precedent that says when congressional laws are ambiguous, federal judges should defer to a reasonable federal agency. If we go to here, this is from John Deaton's law from Crypto Law. SCOTUS smashes regulation by enforcement in 6-3 ruling. Courts may not defer to an agency interpretation of the law simply because a statute is ambiguous. This is another blow to Gary Gensler's attack on crypto. The ruling throws out so-called Chevron deference doctrine that has given administrative agencies like SEC deference of the judicial branch in interpreting unclear statutes, like the application of the 1933 Securities Act to modern digital assets. This sets a very clear limit on the novel legal theories about digital asset securities and embodiment theories, that tokens themselves are securities. Judges are no longer allowed to just defer to this nonsense just because a statute is ambiguous. Game over, Gary Gensler. Then John Deaton weighs in. Huge blow to Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren's agenda of pushing the unconstitutional expansion of regulatory authority without congressional authorization. The final blow will come in November when I defeat Elizabeth Warren. Sounds good to me. Senator Cynthia Loomis weighed in too. Far too long, the Chevron doctrine has allowed D.C. bureaucrats to go unchecked. Today's SCOTUS ruling restores the decision-making powers back into the hands of lawmakers who answer to the American people, not unelected Biden bureaucrats. And here is Steve Bannon weighing in on this. Watch this. It's got a boom beside it.
Total radical. He's too radical. That's why they picked Merrick Garland, not even Lawrence Tribe, but he's the brains of the operation. Just tweeted out, and I want to quote, Chevron is now overruled. The administrative state just died. The imperial judiciary joins the imperial presidency, relegating Congress to a secondary role except when it legislates with unrealistic specificity and foresight. Let me repeat, Lawrence Tribe. The administrative state just died. folks, this has been a pretty crazy 24 hours, and it's going to get a lot crazier. So I want to make sure you're back on the afternoon show. Charlie Kirk is next. Charlie Kirk in Post, I think, had 2 million people on Twitter last night. Just incredible. Charlie's going to follow us right here. You got Poso, then you got Gruber, you've got Tara Dahl and Miranda Khan. We're back here 5 to 7 tonight. We're going to be on fire. I'm trying to get some folks cash and others. DeGrasse is going to talk to us about the down ticket because they're in total panic. On the political side, it's crashing for them because Donald Trump had the courage, and courage is contagious, to say, I'll do it any way you want to do it because the nation and the world needs to see this. Now we have a national security crisis, and we're about to very quickly have a constitutional crisis.
All right, in DAI XRP, I'm going to show you just how serious things are about to get. We are living in some fascinating times. I would compare the times all the way back to the formation of this country or the Civil War, because this is how crazy that I think this is about to get. And we're going to show you, we just showed you what the Supreme Court did. I'm going to show you what else they did. And we're going to go over that because I think it's even bigger, and it's coming. Get ready. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. All this corruption we've seen at the SEC, it wasn't just the SEC. I'm going to show you what else is going on. This is all coming to a head. Get ready. Here we go.